I first read The Murder on the Orient Express probably when I was in junior high school. I knew something of the plot from having seen parts of the film with Albert Finney and this all-star cast. So the solution to the mystery was known to me, and so it was a little disappointing to read it at that time. So this is the first time I've read it in probably about 20 years, or maybe 15 years, and I have to say, I read this in 2 days, and it reads so quickly, and it's such a well written mystery novel. I think to date, it's of all the Christies I've read, it's by far her best novel. For those of you who've never read the book or seen the film, I'll just read the front jacket description of the book. The famous Orient Express, thundering along on its 3 days' journey across Europe, came to a sudden stop in the night. Snowdrifts blocked the line at the desolate spot somewhere in the Balkans. Everything was deathly quiet. "Decidedly, I suffer from the nerves," murmured Hercule Poirot, and fell asleep again. He awoke to find himself very much wanted, for in the night murder had been committed. Mr. Ratchet, an American millionaire, was found lying dead in his berth, stabbed. The untrodden snow around the train proved that the murderer was still on board. Poirot investigates. He lies back and thinks with his little gray cells. Murder on the Orient Express must rank as one of the most ingenious stories ever devised. The solution is brilliant. One can but admire again the amazing resource of Agatha Christie. And it's very true. It's an amazing novel. And one of the interesting things about the novel is that it is based partly on truth. The inspiration from it comes from the Lindbergh baby kidnapping, because the man, Mr. Ratchet, who has been stabbed 12 times on this train, caught in a snowdrift, was responsible for kidnapping and killing a little girl back in New York named Daisy Armstrong. This came out not long after the Lindbergh baby kidnapping. And so Christie uses this idea as inspiration. This novel has so many interesting characters. You've got people of all different classes, different nationalities on the train. Usually you have a lot of British characters in Christie's novels. In this one, there's only 3 British characters. The rest are French, Hungarian, Russian, American, Italian. So you have people from all over the place, and it's a very cosmopolitan setting and a cosmopolitan feel to the novel. And I think that's partly what gives the novel its almost an isolated feeling. First of all, the passengers of this train are cut off from civilization in the Balkans from this snowstorm. The train simply can't move further on the tracks. And then, of course, you've got people in their separate sleeping berths and sleeping compartments. So you've got the compartments within the train and doors opening and closing. Also, another isolating fact is the idea that you don't get to see a lot of interaction between characters in this novel. It's mostly interaction between the characters and Poirot. In other novels, you'll see Agatha Christie will change the point of view and will maybe have a conversation between 2 young lovers, or a domestic setting where people are discussing something and Poirot is not present. With the possible exception of maybe one small scene at the beginning, all of the interactions have to do with Poirot. The story takes place in 3 days, and the murder happens on the 2nd day of the journey through the Orient Express. And the book has this wonderful structure. Another thing that makes it kind of different from Christie's other novels. It doesn't, the investigation is less to do with traveling to a place, looking for some clues, a conversation revealing some kind of evidence or clue. Because the people are stuck on the train, we have this, it's really a locked room mystery, or in this case a snowbound train mystery. Because of the conditions, this is a very straightforward and laid out plot. The story itself is divided into 3 parts. The first part is called The Facts, where we get the facts of the case, going up to the crime and determining who the body is and why he was killed. The second part is the evidence, where he interviews each of the characters in turn. And the third part, Hercule Poirot sits back and thinks. That's where he's just determining what the evidence means, and brings everything together. Never before in Christie, up to this point, have you seen will you see a plot that is so structured. Really, it's like a very tight investigation, and it all happens maybe the day before the murder, the morning of the murder, and by the afternoon, Poirot has solved it. I don't want to get too much more into the plot because it's got such a great ending, and I don't want to spoil that for people who haven't read it. But trust me, it is one of the best Christies that you'll ever read, and I'll give it a 6 out of 5. It's so good.